What is up, everyone? Welcome. Yes, it is correct. It is the Bronx Bombers Strike Back podcast here with your host, the Don of the Waterloo BX Jedi Kevin, with me from Flash Sports, Chris the Flash. We're going to talk some Yankees, but first, let me say good afternoon, early good evening to Chris. How are you, Chris?
What's up, Kev? How you been?
I'm all right. All right. I just wanted to make this video because when we interrupted or stopped doing the Bronx Bombers strike back watch along, the Yankees fell out of the wild card, 5 games for the third and final wild card, and we never finished off the season. We didn't. The Yankees never made a fight. They never battled back to get into contention. And we said if the Yankees were going to get 5 games or below for the final wild card, we will continue to watch along because we knew that the wrestling was very exciting and it was right now taking the top of the charts. And we wanted to put a conclusion to the baseball season. And what prompted me to want to talk about the Yankees now is I'm sitting here or I'm watching the highlights because I'm honest to be honest with you, I have not watched 1 ounce of iota of Major League Baseball postseason because I think it's the most boringest. Some of the team sucks. I'm just gonna be totally honest with you. And I'm looking at some of these players, especially the Philadelphia Phillies, Chris. They're doing it with free agency. They did it the way the Yankees used to do it. And I know for all the morons that say that analytics works, and I'm sorry, I'm going to be totally healed because I am really sour with the New York Yankees. So I do want to apologize if you think I'm coming off a little negative or sour. It's because I am, because I invested a lot of money with and I'm not the only one with the Major League ticket, with merchandise, my time, my summer and for the nonsense that they put up with it. But we'll get into that, Chris. I just wanted to give you my thoughts on what I'm seeing here. And let me give you your thoughts. Your floor is yours.
Yeah, of course, I was still watching the games, even though we knew they wasn't going anywhere. What's up, Jose? Um, it just sucks because like you said, Philly's doing it with free agency like we used to do it, but it just how don't want to spend the money properly, and you still got a bozo running the show, and he can't even do that right. So I mean, I'm hoping this year's a little different, and hopefully Hal can actually step up and tell Cashman to sit down.
Now, I see the way to, and again, I'm glad I didn't fall into the pomp and circumstances or the look at here trick when the Yankees decided after the season after they were completely over. They were over 5+ games. I can't believe they were almost close to 8 games out of a wild card spot, final wild card spot. Then they made the move. They try to pull the wool over people's eyes, over the fan base. They like I told you, they had to make some moves. They had to do something because come September, when Aaron Rodgers, I know that Aaron Rodgers didn't work out, 4 plays in, whatever. You could laugh all you want, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, with the rumors of Aaron Rodgers possibly navigating the Jets season and the Giants coming off a postseason run and a playoff win, there was high expectations with the football clubs. And September was coming along, and my point is the stadium. I say, watch the stadium be empty if this team is really bad. 9 games over, 8 games or under, and they try to pull the wolves under our eyes. Of course, they put Bader. How great was that? I don't want to sound like I'm going to be here taking a victory lap, but I said it, and I said it before. I told you the guy was not the right move. We'll talk about that soon, real quick. And I hate to be, you know what? In this instance, I wish I was wrong. Continue to be wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say I told you so. I'm right. And you know what? What's it going to get me? It got me losing money on this team and not watching them in the postseason. So, am I really going to be gloating about that? I was right? No, because I'd rather see them play. I'd rather be getting ready for game 2 or game 4 or whatever it is of the American League Championship Series, Chris. Not here on a video getting enthusiastic that I was right about Bader. My point is they try to pull the wool over our eyes and bring up Dominguez, bring up Peraza, bring up Wells, and everybody played well. Dominguez, but then Dominguez again, the injury bug. Now he's gone with Tommy John until next year. It's like, what in the world? I mean, in a way, I'm glad I didn't get reinvested to get hit. I don't know how much more my testicles could absorb getting hit there, Chris.
Yeah. No, I gotta give you flowers. You was right about it. Beta didn't last too long. Now look at Jordan Montgomery, and I'm just gonna say this: if y'all end up signing Jordan Montgomery back, y'all gotta be the stupidest people I ever seen in my life. Cause you had the dude and you traded him, and then you said he's not a postseason pitcher, and look what he's doing in the postseason. So now you got an egg on your face, and then now you want to try to sign him back. That's the rumor. Don't do it, because I've seen this plenty of times. We're gonna who was it? Vasquez that we got back
Javier
twice,
Javier Vasquez.
and it didn't work out. So do not bring Jordan Montgomery back, please. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, personally, if I'm Jordan Montgomery and the Yankees are asking me to return, I know business is business, money talks, and nonsense walks, and BS flushes down the toilet. I'll tell the Yankees, you know what? I'll say, you know what? I'll go get Jim Johnson and to Cashman in a loudspeaker in front of the Bronx, and I have Jim Johnson pay and have him sing the Degeneration X song right in front there. Oh,
Yes.
suck it, suck it, a big fat suck it. And Jordan should do that to the Yankee organization because I told you, you take care of your homegrown lefties. What I've told you, you got to take care of your homegrown left-hander whenever the Yankees have success in the postseason. And I'm not saying that Jordan Montgomery is Andy Pettit because he only pitched 6 1/3 inning, which in this modern day of baseball is phenomenal. But at the end of the day, he isn't Andy Pettit in the postseason either. But you still need a left-handed pitching and a
And
pitcher that
and
already.
my bad for cutting
Yes.
you off, Kevin.
No, you go. You're good.
Not only is he a postseason pitcher, he's doing it against the people that you don't like, Houston.
Exactly. You're doing up against an adversary that we cannot get over the hump with. He didn't pitch against the Astros in the postseason either. We don't know if they would have been great with the Astro against the Astros if we played them last ALCS. We don't know that. We don't know that. We really don't know. He could have been pooped the bed as well. We don't know that. Something maybe this is a blessing in disguise. If they do, I personally don't want like him not to come back. Not because I don't want him, not because he's not a good player. I just, you know what, you didn't want me here. Why you want me back now? Because I had success elsewhere. But I'm gonna throw the coin the other side. Maybe he unlocked and saw something from another pitching coach or another organization philosophy that's gonna help him get over the hump, and maybe he is a successful pitcher in New York because he learned something different away from the Yankee organization. Remember, everything in life has a shelf life, and I want to bring to my next point. But before I give you that next point of everything has a shelf life, with Jordan Montgomery, give me your final thoughts on that one when we move on. For him, would you like him return? With that philosophy, knowing that he might unlock something and learn something different.
It's not like I don't want him to return. I know as a person with an ego, if somebody don't want you and now they want you all of a sudden because you're doing good and it's not because of them, I'm sorry. No, I don't want to be back. Since you didn't want me and other teams do want me, I'm gonna pitch for the other team. And guess what? I'm a lad in Boston signs him. And I'm a lad.
That's a possibility. That's a real possibility because Boston now with Heimblum out, they have a new general manager. Maybe they'll spend a little more money. Maybe they'll do something different. Because listen, everyone fell in love and got enamored with the analytics nonsense. Oh, the Tampa Bay Rays did phenomenal with the analytics department. The fellatio all over baseball for baseball analytics was disgusting. The mighty Red Sox decided they're going to, they lost Mookie Betts. You could obviously say one of the top 5 players in Major League Baseball because of the stupid analytics. We almost lost, let's face it, we almost lost Aaron Judge because of the stupid analytics. And I know you're going to say, oh, Aaron Judge got hurt and he didn't play the season. He's always injured, yada, yada. Well, it was a toe that it was on a concrete wall in Dodger Stadium. It's not like we got a reigning MVP that can't run the bases, that pulls a muscle every time he runs. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
Judge when he plays, he is dynamic. He still ended up with 40 plus home runs this season. You know, he's a threat in that lineup. And for this, and we're starting to see who is in right now. Who's right now on the verge of getting back to the World Series is the Phillies. Phillies with players that the Yankees that fit the ballpark in the Bronx with the short porch in Harper, who for some reason they didn't want to sign him because they had Tristano Stanton. They were moving in a penny pinching mood or saving money. I get it. They had some young kids coming up. We've seen it now. We spoke about this on a hamster wheel of turds over and over in circle, talking about the same thing with Harper. He should have been here. We know that. Machado should have been here. We know that. But we've seen Harper, who was a free agent pickup by the Phillies, and the Thunder Pig, Schwarber. He's out there hitting bombs. They might not be the regular season type of players that are sexy, but when it comes to the postseason, what does that remind you of? The Yankee dynasty, remember? Oh, Paul O'Neill is not that great. Paul O'Neill, you know what? I'll take Ken Griffey Jr. And I'm not knocking Ken Griffey Jr. I'm not. Ken Griffey Jr. is a Hall of Famer, borderline. You know, I mean, not borderline, Hall of Famer. I mean, first ballot that with your eyes closed, unanimous. You know what I mean? But there's guys when it came to the postseason as a collective unit, or even Jeter. I mean, how many times we get knocked that Jeter isn't great and he's yada yada mediocre, you know, from other fans, folks that come on this channel sometimes, and nonsense. They're all winning when it comes to postseason. I guarantee the postseason, you want Jeter at that plate with 2 outs and 2 strikes. You want the guy that could depend on your life is Jeter to get that hit. You know, the Bernie Williams, who leads the RBIs in all Major League Baseball. Those are the type of players that we've seen what the Phillies are doing. They sign players. The Trey Turner, he started off a little rocky with the Phillies, and then they had to tell the fan base to calm down a little bit, and now Trey Turner's excelling with the Phillies. Signing over Zach Wheeler, which I told you I've said it. I would have loved the Yankees to guy Zach Wheeler when he was available. Right-handed pitcher who pitched in New York, who knows coming off of Tommy John surgery, disappointment. Phillies are becoming what the Yankees used to be. Signing the right, it doesn't mean you have to spend money like a drunken sailor either, Chris. Sign the right players that fit your team and your ballpark. That's all we ask. That's all we ask.
And I bet you Philly gonna do something smart. So dude's gonna be a free agency. Nola. He's pitching at the right time. He's gonna cash in. You know what they're gonna do? They're gonna let him go because they know what type of pitcher he is. And I guarantee you, at the Yankees, we don't need Nola. Like, yes, I want Yamamoto, but don't try to, we can't get Yamamoto. Let's get Nola or somebody. Don't do that. That'd be the wrong move.
What Aaron Nola probably ends up with Baltimore, to be honest with you. I'm just thinking.
Go there.
I think the Orioles will end up getting, but I'm glad you mentioned the name. I see that a lot, and nothing wrong with the other podcasters. Shout out to you guys. You guys doing a good job for your own channel. You know what works for your channel. I can't sit there, and I'm going to give you that right now. I know you guys are Yankee fans and saying why Jet I don't do a lot of Yankee stuff. I'm sorry, I cannot waste your time with clickbait. If I don't feel the player to talk worthy about, or the Yankees actually going to sign them, I can't give you and I'm going to say it in Spanish, sueño con pajarito preña. I can't give you a dream with pigeons that are pregnant. Pigeons lay eggs. They don't get pregnant. I can't give you that dream showing you this player is this, that. I have no answer what Yamamoto is or does in Japan. Personally, I have a bad experience with the Japanese players coming over to the Yankees. I don't believe in them. I don't think their game translates to the major. That's just my bias. I don't think their game translates to the major league level. Only just Ohtani and 3 players I could give you really. Ohtani, Hideki Matsui, and Hideki Matsui was just an average player. He just became hot in the postseason MVP. And Ichiro Suzuki. To me, that's it. You can't convince me that there's anything else. And I still tell you that Ohtani is a one-trick, is a hack. I'm sorry. It's just my opinion, my personal opinion. I got to see Ohtani get into the postseason and do what Harper does. So for me to go, oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Chris. You're sitting there with Mike Trout, who's supposed to be the best player in baseball, and neither one of them they sniff no postseason. They sniff more golf balls than than playoff baseballs. Seriously,
Yeah. What's the dude at Boston signed? If he can hit 300 again, if
Suzuki,
he can hit
yes,
300, yeah,
1 year, and we haven't brought his name up to the conversation because he just arrived. He
yeah,
just arrived in Major League Baseball, and he had an impressive season for the Boston Red Sox. But you were very high on last year
yeah.
when the whole season you were high on him, and also that's where we come now. And I'm glad you mentioned him. Left field. Once again, the
Mhm.
Yankees are showing us there is no zero care on about addressing the left field. For Brian Cashman to be arrogant in September and last year in this spring training, not to bring in a left fielder or give an opportunity to any of to not even we were Jason Dominguez was a little raw. We I get it. He wasn't ready for the major league according to them. But then you go on through to the season and get out of control without even addressing a left fielder. You didn't even give Everson Pereira a shot to play left field we needed when we were in when especially with Judge going down. You didn't make no urgency. You gave us Frenchie Cordero. I mean, listen, I like steak, but doesn't mean I'm going to the Dollar General to buy a piece of steak from the Dollar General either. I'm not.
Facts. And
You know,
you could have. I'm not gonna lie. I know, because they said no, but that's after the Cubs was getting hot and stuff like that. But as soon as Judge got hurt, you could have called him for Bellinger. You could have said, "What y'all want? I want Bellinger," but you didn't do that neither.
and not even that. Even I can even one up you, Chris. Before the season started, Bellinger was available. $17
Hmm.
million for 2 years. You telling me if for the Yankees you would give him 21, $22 million for a year with an option for a second, whatever. Let's say the numbers, and you still was going to get to that close to that. You still were $4 million close to that 293 luxury tax. It could have worked. You would have brought Bellinger in here because Bellinger, guess what? We know that Bellinger plays outfielder and he could play transition to first base. And they ended up needing a first baseman with the concussions of Rizzo. I mean, would have, could have, should have. If we would have known the future, listen, if I knew the six numbers for tomorrow, I'll be playing Powerball. And you know what? You won't see me
Well,
on the team.
I
You'll
got
see me
I got
fishing.
another name. One I can one up you, the dude that you wanted, not Bellinger, but you was like, why not give a shot to Conforto?
Exactly. Conforto signed $9 million, I believe 19 or 9 million or 19 million. I'm right now. I'm not looking at numbers. I'm be honest with you. I'm a little disconnected from baseball because I was very soured when all this happened in late August. And again, I was a little, and I'm gonna say it again. I am soured with the Yankee organization and baseball in general. Um, and my sourness comes from the top of the from the top. You know, you're first you told us first you try to tease us with bringing the kids to play. And I knew that was all to keep your eyeballs on the product. But then when the season then before the season ends, you tell us you're going to bring a consulting firm, so the Steinberg, so they could tell advise how what the Yankee organization needs. You know what they see from the outside, what's going on, and then when everyone gets excited, all right, maybe there might be change in the organization. Maybe they'll say, maybe they need a philosophy in instructional league. Maybe they need some, maybe something's different. I didn't think about, I didn't wasn't saying about general manager. You see me, I didn't bring them yet. I'm talking about within the organization. Maybe they're stretching health and conditioning programming, other stuff. Because damn it, too many Yankee players are getting injured with the same stupid injuries, either and that are long prolonged. And something is going wrong. Either they're not training them right, they're not getting their body correct. I don't think it's nutrition. But then here's the thing that makes me more giddy or more it grinds my gears, like Peter Griffin will say. They cancel the consultants. They cancel it. They're not going to do it. We're retaining the manager. We're retaining the general manager. But here's the beautiful but. We're gonna put certain sleepers in the locker room, in the clubhouse. So now we're gonna have and we're gonna have bedtime stories. We're gonna have we're going to have everything but happy endings in that clubhouse. We're gonna yeah, we're going to Kane's Furniture. We're going to Bob's Furniture. We're going to Siemens. we're gonna go. No, we're gonna now spend. We're gonna get the cool top pillow top mattresses because the Yankees need to be comfortable. Get a break. Come on. That was a scroll. That was, you know how pissed off that guy. I hear that. You know, what was your thoughts
And
on that?
it's not just that. Oh, Boone needs to be a little tougher on the players. He can't do nothing. Y'all have that man on a string. Y'all don't want him to be the manager. Y'all want him to be a puppet. That's the problem. One minute y'all said coddle the players. That's why y'all let go of Joe Girardi because he was being too hard on Gary Sanchez. That was from y'all. Now y'all want him to be a little bit more tougher. Make up your mind. Because if I was Eric Boone, I would be like, I'm losing my.
And here's the thing: nobody's advocating for a firing or loss. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be totally honest with you, everyone, my Yankee fans, and everyone that's listening listening to hear the Bronx Bombers Strike Back podcast. I don't know. They're gonna have to make something really drastic, a nice change. But I don't know if I could stomach another year, another summer of mines with Aaron Boone as manager. Like what I mean, another summer of mines, doing every watch along. I can't stand his managerial aspects, the way he managed. I can't stand the analytics. I'm giving him prime fishing time and my summertime to do this watch on to do these Yankees, and it's fun, it's entertaining, and I enjoy speaking to everyone that watches along with me and comments. And but the product on the field, it's got to give me something to get excited about. I want to see some, and I'm not saying they got to go out there and run the bases like gazelles. Every time out there's a base runner, they're going to run themselves out of an inning like morons and run and steal. And because, we got to keep Jedi happy. No, but I want to see sometimes a little baseball one-on-one, Chris, that sometimes keep it simple, stupid works. A nice kiss from the Yankee organization, the players on the field, do things correctly, move the base runners over. And I'm not saying everyone should go up there bunting either, but give me something that assembles what baseball really was done over 100 years. And yeah, I get it. They wanted, you got to change with the times. Fine, but when I watch these playoffs, which I haven't watched a bit, but when I'm watching them, or I see who's in there, they're traditional lineups. Guys that don't strike out a lot, teams that don't strike out, that pitch, that defend, and it comes up with the clutch hits, left-handed hitting, that are hitting the baseball like monsters out there, and you're like, what the hell? Meanwhile, you don't. It's like we're right-handed. We were right-handed happy. I mean, it's like, what are we doing, Chris? What are we doing? What are we doing? Can we continue wasting time? I know Caputo is sick of 13 years of waiting, but it does feel like it's like, what are we doing? We're spinning the wheels here.
Yeah. I think I said this on Ted's program, but I hate I hate wasting players' primes. And don't get me wrong, yeah, CC, CC's my favorite player of all time. Yes, he got a chip, but you still wasted his prime. He could have had more chips. Now you're wasting Garrett Cole and Judge's prime. They should already had at least 2 chips already. Like, it's not a okay. I think people getting this confused. Yankees are spending. Stop being delusional saying they're not spending. That's stupid. Is Brian Cashman spending money dumb? That's the problem. And that's where I feel like Hal needs to step in and say, I'm tired of you spending my money down. Because if that's the case, Hal, you need to go to the casino and tell Brian Cashman keep betting on red because that's what you're doing. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I wanted to say that before a couple of minutes ago was everything has a shelf life. And we need how listen, everything has a shelf life and everything. Maybe it's time for Hal grew up in his organization. Maybe it's time for Hal to think about his shelf life as owner of the New York Yankee baseball. Because if he doesn't have the guts or the intestinal fortitude to make changes when it's needed in the front office, in who's running the front office, from team president or from scouting, from player development, and it's not to his liking, he needs to make a move. And we're not saying a move to be a knee-jerk reaction either, but everything he has to recognize. We're asking him to make a quick, very intelligent decision. Is there shelf life? Listen, I never thought Even in wrestling, there's a shelf life. Who thought a man that owned wrestling for over 50 years sold it? Vince McMahon. There's a shelf life. Even for Vince McMahon, there's a shelf life. Him owning the wrestling WWE. Maybe there's a shelf life here when it comes to collect your $9 to $10 billion that you're going to get for this franchise. It's more than enough money for you to live until he's what, 70 plus years old or 65. He's got plenty of money that will never run out, and his children, his generations. And I'm not saying do it because if you love baseball, if you love your team, I'm not telling you to sell it because I want you to sell it. Maybe there's a shelf life. You're not showing that passion or the devotion that you're making as a business. You're worried about the chicken tender bucket coming from $24 to $28. That you could increase. But you can't increase. Please increase me the team spending. Also, Brian Cashman. Brian Cashman, I still think is a hell of a general manager, despite the fact that we could go on his resume and his record. But I think he has a shelf life. This job that he's had with the New York Yankees has cost him a marriage. Okay, because when I met him in 2004, he was married with his 2 daughters, little young girls. Now he's been divorced. His daughters are older. I don't think that he has that same enthusiastic energy to go out there and make that a move, because the Yankees is 24/7. He doesn't. It cost him a marriage. It cost him a life. I think he half-fasted. He thought or overthinks sometimes of the trade. Well, I needed a shortstop for stopgap because Isaiah kind of Falefa. But they're making me take Donaldson. I'll take Donaldson for 2 years at 25, but maybe he'll rebound and he'll have a good season because he puts on the Yankees lure, the Yankee pinstripe, and he'll overachieve. You were lucky that you overachieved with Gio Urshela, but Gio Urshela only cost you peanuts. 800, was it 100? Minor league salary. Donaldson was your $25 million mistake. You can't afford to make those mistakes when you have an owner who wants to penny pinch, or not penny pinch, who doesn't want to spend a lot overabundant amount of money in luxury taxes. Remember what George Steinbrenner himself said? Why should I pay taxes to our other organizations and pay them there so they could play their players to beat me? Look at the Athletics, how much money they put in their pockets, and they feel crap out there to the city of Oakland. Now they're moving. A case in point, when you got players going on podcasts, retiring and say, sell the team because you guys don't care about the team, Chris. I mean, I think there's a shelf life that I think both owner and general manager has come to an expiration, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's easy to blame Boone because he's the manager, but it's like it gets to a point where you could fire as many head coaches as you can, to not throw other people under the bus, but it's the organization itself. It's Randy Levine, it's Brian Cashman, it's Boone, it's Hal, it's the team doctor, which the team doctor sucks because he's doing other things when he should be only for the team. That's why it's called the team doctor. I don't understand that. Rizzo was playing with a freaking concussion. How you missed that?
Yeah, that doesn't look good. That doesn't look good with Rizzo's concussion. Wasn't diagnosed correctly. And I understand sometimes head trauma and head injuries and maybe now, the last 10 years now that we know with the PTSD, with the football players and so forth, it's become more of a hot topic, a hotbed top conversation with any injuries towards the head, how to recognize it. We're learning, we're trying to get innovative when it comes to head injuries. But for them not to diagnose that, and Rizzo saying maybe he might have said there were symptoms with concussions, with migraines or double vision, whatever the case was. It kind of, if they misdiagnosed him to keep him playing because they were missing Judge, bad on the organization. We will never know these answers, by the way. We'll never know the truth. And it's funny how the Yankees are manipulating misdiagnosed medical, but meanwhile, the team across town is under investigation the way they use the injured list. Isn't that kind of funny? The Mets former general managers being investigated, putting the wrong people who should have been on list, injured list, not injured, yada yada, vice versa. When they should have been looking at the Yankees, they should be more checking out on what's wrong with you're the Yankees. You're worth $9.7 or $10 billion franchise. Why is your doctors and your medicals stinking? What's going on here? There should be investigation on it.
That doesn't make sense. And then look, everybody keep talking about because they do the comparison. Oh, Judge is like Stanton. Hell no. First of all, Judge is getting fluky injuries. Stanton, like you said, he can't even run a base and he tears a hamstring. That doesn't make sense. And I'm gonna say this: before Stanton got to us and it was in Miami, this man was never really hurt. Like I don't understand that. And they keep saying, "Well, it's hamstring, blah blah blah." No, there's other stuff that you can do. Like you don't have to lift weights. You could stretch. You could do yoga. You could do plenty of things to where your hamstrings won't always pull or rip apart every time you run a base. That doesn't make sense. Like we had okay, the Yankees are the most richest franchise. Buy the best doctors you can buy that only are working for y'all. Don't buy a team doctor that's working for Oxnard or another hospital. It doesn't make sense because his focus is probably gonna be on his patients that's at another hospital, not on players. Because all he gonna be like, oh, I'm collecting a check. That's the problem. You got to get a better training staff and you got to get a better team doctor.
They need a doctor specialist who's going to, like you said, specialize for the team, because a doctor that's going to juggle both jobs. At the end of the day, a doctor's oath is to take care of everyone, no matter rich, poor, superstar athlete, not or just a person who doesn't have the means, who's a homeless person. A doctor will always go to the roll up their sleeves and attend and save lives or take care of the sick. That's in their nature. That's a creed they take. And I can't get too much on that doctor fault because he wants to get paid. He's getting paid. Now they need to they need to find a doctor just exclusive that his practice is going to be just for the team, not the dual, because you can't ask a doctor to give up, unless he's willing to pick and choose team, or private sector along with the sports team. I get that. I can't get too mad on the doctor because he's got a creed to fulfill. Back in the day when they had Gene Monahan also and the other training stuff, there wasn't that many injuries. Something is going on with their workout measurements, with the weights, and getting too bulked up with when it comes to Stanton. Maybe he needs to call Diamond Dallas Page and get that yoga going with the stretching, how much that worked. And I don't know, but it also takes two. If the players know that he's getting hurt like this, damn, he's gotta get sick of. You gotta get sick and tired of always having to pull a hamstring. I mean, he's also got to say, "Damn, I'm sick and tired of always getting hurt." But it takes two to tangle. Maybe he's got to also say, "I got to do something different. I got to do something different because I can't continue being injured all the time." I mean, I mean, as a player, I want to play. I don't want to always be labeled that I'm injury prone, and it's just a tough one, Chris. I don't know. Also, doesn't help the weather. When it's cold, you're
Cold,
running.
yeah.
It's a lot of different things coming up from Florida, where it's beautiful, it's nice and warm. Then you immediately get the baseball season is cold, you're frigid, and it's just a lot of different things there when it comes to the ball players. No excuses, no excuses. I'm not putting in excuses for Stanton always getting injured. It gets annoying because you count on them. But what gets me more annoying that the Yankees don't have plan B, C, or D, knowing there's a history already. That's where we get mad at, Chris. I think as fan base, because they don't show that they have a plan in case of they only go for in case of an emergency break glass because they end up getting the Frenchy Corderos. Maybe you should start seeing what talent you have, and maybe they can't continue missing on these draft picks. And again, a lot of these kids in the farms, they haven't panned out. Everyone, as much as everyone gets mad of not getting of going and getting Sonny Gray, all the players that they gave up for Sonny Gray, Chris, and at the time, Sonny Gray was the best pitcher in baseball available. You could say, well, you could have Verlander instead. Verlander was not good. Verlander was in the Max Scherzer position. Well, Scherzer right now stinks, and you think he's coming to, and that was Justin Verlander. So the Yankees, I'm not going to go back and revisionist history and get mad at the Yankees for getting Sonny Gray at that time, because Gray was the best pitcher in baseball. But everyone they gave up didn't pan out. Dustin Fowler didn't do nothing. All the players that they gave up didn't really do anything. I think the Yankees, again, I think Cashman this job is worn down on him. I think it's a shelf life for him because I think he's got to always think about trades, and he wants to. And right now he's supposed he's a divorced man who's single, probably jogging back and forth to see his kids, his daughter. I don't know, I forgot how old they are. They must be ready to go to college, XYZ. But he also wants to have a social life, and he's always Yankees. They kind of mail it in half-assed. Look to see, and maybe the beginning of the season. It was a little bit of cry for help when he brought in Saban as well as Manaya to help him with that. But damn, it seems like it's like rinse and repeat. And what's gonna happen next year? We're gonna come back here again October, watch other teams play, and then they're gonna probably clean house. Or I just don't know if I can stomach that, Chris.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We we can't do that again. We can't miss the playoffs again. It just we just can't because it's not only are we not going to the World Series, but if we ain't going to the playoffs, then that's a serious problem. And I just feel like everybody was talking about last year and the year before that. I think this year is the most important free agency and making trades and stuff like that. And I know probably in a couple of minutes or something we're gonna talk about trades and free agency and all that, but I just feel like Cashman. I understand, like Kev said, you might be wore out. Your mind might be on other stuff, but you gotta grow some cojones, bro. Like I don't understand. Stop thinking you're better than everybody. Stop thinking you're smarter than everybody. Certain trades is gonna hurt, bro. It's gonna hurt. You gotta understand that.
Let me ask you this: we're saying that he's half-assing and mailing it in and all that. Could it be that when he proposed a trade, he's listening to the analytics department that's giving him the wrong data?
And,
Because
and that's another thing. They gotta go. They got to go. And I'm not saying, and look, I love analytics if you use it the right way. But the analytics team we got, they are trash. They warn about launch angles and this and that. Yes, that works for certain players. But when you got people like Volpe and stuff like that, that shouldn't matter. Batting average should matter for people like Volpe, not launch angles and trying to hit home runs. It doesn't make sense. Clearly, something is wrong with the analytics because if it was good peachy and cream, Judge wouldn't have his own hitting coach. That should let you know how
here's,
bad analytics is.
here's the thing: the analytics are a bunch of MIT mathematicians that are never played the game of baseball, and they're going by numbers, crunchy numbers, mathematician equations, watching a player's stats, their WAR, all this and this and there's something where you could put those numbers, but you need the eye test. You need to put someone with the eye test scout, like the way Stick Michaels used to do. Have a team of scouts. They sit there and watch, and they have a chart, and they write, and they see, and they say, you know what? At the end of the day, this guy played well. Maybe that's what. Maybe the analytics team said maybe they need better mattresses in the clubhouse. So when when they're taking their naps, they could wake up on the right side of the mattress. Where the shorter purpose sleeper is cooler, and maybe the sheeps gives them a little bit of a reach around, and they become happy. With a finger, and they could give them a happy ending, and they could go out there and hit. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe Flo will come in out there in the dining room and serve them, maybe corned beef brisket. I don't know. I don't know what the Yankees want to do there. But that analytics department, you need real play. You need guys that been there. Sometimes some former players who has an eye for scouting. It doesn't have to be your superstar. It doesn't have to be the Posadas, the Tino Martinez. You could bring in the guys, that been play there before. The guys that been there that know them. I'm going to use a player as an example, like a Vizcaino. Jose Vizcaino wasn't a superstar, but he knows how to play. He knows how the game is done right. Maybe he's an advanced scout there that can see the next players out there in Latin America or somewhere in the Caribbean and say, you know what, I see this kid. He has an intestinal fortitude. When they play a game here, he didn't look like he had it, but he did just enough. He did a lot of winning plays. This is a winning ball player that will find a way when he doesn't have his A game or when he's struggling how to make something and do something positive in the baseball game to swing to your favor. Those are the type of players I kind of want to see. I want to see something that would tailors to your ballpark. Left-handed hitters who's going to, not necessarily be pull happy, but will make contact and know where he's at, the dimensions of the ballpark. When is a situation when he needs to pull a ball or when he needs to slap it the other way? Those are the kind of players I want with with some contact who doesn't swing and a miss. It gets frustrating because you got mostly the same mold of the same players. It's like what they're blinded. They seem like a horse with the blinders, only picking this type of player, and it gets a little boring and old when it comes to the New York Yankees offense. You know, one thing that I think hurts the Yankees right now, that kind of they should have pulled the trigger on Luis Castillo. And you can't go with your second rate and get the Montas. And there's,
Yeah,
by the way, they're talking about Montas. Yankees might re-up and sign him. Well, if you're going to re-up and sign him for $7 million a year under 8, I'm okay with it. Be honest with you. As much
yeah,
as I don't like Frank Montas, but if he's coming in on a discount like that low, you bring his butt back, because you know what, he's got some unfinished business. Because he did play pitch well with the Athletics. He just had the injury. He was a good pitcher, and I always said it was Mahana should have been the left-hander they should have got, but that's for another conversation. And I know he hasn't done anything either, but that's, like I said, that's another conversation. They should have, and if they say, well, would it cost Volpe? It would have cost Dominguez. Well, what are we doing with Peraza then? Because Peraza doesn't look like Peraza is a player that they don't know what the hell they want to do either. He's getting into the category of an Estevan Florio. Estevan Florio is a tremendous quadruple A baseball player for the New York Yankees. And I think he's not going to be back. He probably get free agent. I think he's a free agent, a minor league free agent that could sign with anyone. And I'm afraid that's what they're going to do with Peraza. And I think Peraza, do you see any hope? Let me ask you, see hope Peraza coming to stay beyond this team?
well, I, I don't want to talk about this because we was talking about this in the backstage. If we do somehow trade for Soto, I think he's going in that package.
All right. And
Yeah,
there's another thing. Are we sure that San Diego is going to be honest with you personally? You got to go get Juan Soto, because you know what? You have to go get Juan Soto if he's available. If he's available, here's the reason why. And you can't sit there and say, we're the New York Yankees, and if Soto reaches to free agency, we'll sign him. You're probably right. If Juan Soto reaches free agency, you're probably right. If he was still with the Padres this year, you got 1 year for a major league team to go out there and try to get a Juan Soto. And the team that I'm really scared of to get Juan Soto, be honest with you, and I think he'll stay, and I think he'll stick with them. I think he'll stay with them, is the Baltimore Orioles. Because the Orioles got young players for drafting low in the draft. For all those years they were bad. Remember, where did Juan Soto started his career in the DC area, in the Washington, DC area. He was in the West Coast. You bring him back to the East Coast, and you show him what we have in Baltimore. And he lived here, and maybe he gets nostalgic feelings about coming back home, going to the same barber shop, probably where he got his haircut, because it's in the same area. Little things like that. You're like, you're thinking, no, but those little things matter. Going the same route, probably, back and forth, or going to the famous supermarkets that you bought your food, or groceries that you normally know where to buy, where to find things. Those little things make your life a little easier, where you could concentrate more in baseball and being the best players in baseball. He's got to find that adjustment in Los Angeles. Let's face it, and and it's gonna be the truth. In San Diego, there's not a lot of Dominicanos there. It's mostly Mexican American, Mexicanos. They're not going to have the Producto Dominicano in San Diego. He's got to have to get it imported. And I'm not saying he's going to do, because some of these guys don't even eat some of the stuff that we grew up on, because they're into nutrition and health. We get it. But still, once in a while, you want to eat something from your home that you grew up on, and maybe you don't find that in San Diego. I'm not saying there's no Dominicans in San Diego. Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. But there's more products that feels like home on the East Coast. I'm afraid of a team of the Orioles make a trade, bring him in, and then they resign him for a long-term deal, because he says, you know what, I'm familiar. I still kept my home. I still kept my place when I played for the Nationals. I'm familiar. I'm not going to make any more change. I'm going to be here for the next 10 years. A team is up and rising with Adam. You tell him you put in there with Adam and Rutschman, and that group of guys. That's a dangerous team, Chris.
well, it's funny that you said Baltimore because guess who I was thinking? I was thinking
Boston.
Seattle. Yeah, Julio Rodriguez, Juan Soto, like it would be perfect because Seattle needs more hitting. They got the
I agree.
pitching. They,
I
they
agree.
need more hitting. And I can see them they got the prospects too. Even though they traded a lot of prospects away, they still got the prospects to get Soto. So everybody keep talking about Boston and the Mets and the Dodgers or even the Angels. I don't know how, but maybe we let Otani go. Let's trade that. I don't think that still work because you got the best player in baseball, Mike Trout. You wasted his prime. I just feel like you need to trade him to see what y'all can get for because you can still get something for Mike Trout. You can
Yes.
still get
Yes.
something for Mike Trout. If I was you, I would do a whole new rebuild. Let Mike Trout go. You already gonna let Otani go, and do something different. But everybody keep talking about Soto might go here and there, but I don't hear too much about Seattle or Baltimore, and that'd be two good places. I mean, especially Baltimore because they're so young and they got the pitching that San Diego wants. I mean, I'm just if Baltimore end up with Soto and then he signs with them, Cashman got to go.
It's not much Cashman. It's the fact that I don't know if they, we overvalue our prospects.
I mean, I
I don't know.
don't,
I
but
don't know. I
we
don't know
do.
what San Diego, I don't know what the Padres. And that's another thing. If you know there's a player like that out there for generational players, Chris, start showcasing a player. And this is where I think their Yankee scouting takes a backseat, or they're lacking. They're getting a nice paycheck to do pretty much not much. When the Yankees in the '90s were winning World Series, they were trading they were trading prospects. Yeah, because they were going to teams and they were offering teams that needed players in certain needs of position. When they moved Ruben Rivera, Yankees had a strength. They had Bernie Williams, they had Paul O'Neill, they had youth. Ruben Rivera was an up and coming center fielder, and when they moved him to the Brewers, needed a center fielder. They needed outfielder help. They knew how to match teams. They target a player. They knew how to match those players' needs and presented them prospects that maybe we overhyped them so much where they're like, "Ooh, you Yankees giving me this? I'll send you this guy." And the Yankees are not doing that. They're not presenting. San Diego with Gary Sanchez behind the plate, or they might have a deficiency in catcher. They might have a deficiency in a third baseman. What you present yourself, the guys like a Peraza, maybe a Volpe, not Wells, but another Ben Rothneck. You gotta build them up, not tear these players down that you're gonna eventually trade. They might not be the star if they pan for you, muzzle top. If they don't, but you're still pushing them and you're building them, you can move them, but not tearing them down, sending them to minor leagues and forget about them, make them seem like they're trash. Nobody wants no one. No, who wants garbage? I don't want nothing that's garbage. I want something that's going to be good. That's going to benefit me. Yankees don't present their prospect like they're going to benefit not just the Yankees, but they could benefit Major League Baseball teams. All they do is tear them down and they send them down. Esteban Florio should have been traded 3 years ago. 3 years ago, and we probably would have got something that we could need probably to get us over the hump against the Houston Astros, either a reliever, a closer, who knows what names. We don't know what names came up with Esteban Florio that the Yankees had a chance to trade him for X player that we never knew, that we find out, that would have been an X factor. We never know that, Chris. We never know. And I'm not saying that the Yankees players are all end all more desirable players in Major League Baseball. Maybe, probably not. But you also could present them like they're the most important shit in the world, and they're not doing that. And that kind of concerns me, Chris.
Yeah, like like I was saying, like I agree with you that they don't do that, but we do have the prospects to get Soto. I don't want to hear people saying we don't because we do. Because we had, to be honest, a lot of people said we didn't have, like we gave all our pitching prospects to from the Montage there, which that's totally false because now we look at our pitchers now. Will Warren, Thorpe, like we have pitchers now, especially Thorpe. Thorpe is supposed to be the next up and comer. So I'm sorry, if they want Thorpe for Soto, you got to make the trade. Look, say we do get Yamamoto, and then we got Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole. If Montage come back, Nestor coming back, we don't need any more pitching. Pitching, we are straight. So if they want our best pitcher prospect, you give him because Juan Soto is a generational player. You already passed up Harper, Machado, some of the other good pitchers that came up. Then Corey Seager, which I love Corey Seager, Trey Turner. Like I don't understand it. Like y'all can't be building these prospects like Dominguez. Oh, he's the Martian, blah 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 blah. Then all of a sudden he comes, then he gets hurt, and now you got to wait a whole another year for him to come back off of Tommy John surgery. That's rare for a hitter, and now you got to trade for Soto now because he's hurt. And then what's his name, Spencer Jones. I can't wait to see what he do, but again, that's what San Diego wants. You have to trade for Soto because what if Judge gets hurt? We need somebody to fill in Judge's shoes. He can do it. Look what happened when Judge hurt this year. Nobody can fill his shoes. Look at the offense. It was trash. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you this. I know we want Soto. I'm with you. I'm not saying I don't want Soto. But what is Soto going to do to elevate this lineup? I'm asking the question. And I'm gonna answer that as well. I'm asking both of us that question, but I'm asking you first that.
Well, he's a lefty. He definitely hits for average. He only had like 2 seasons, maybe out of all the seasons he had, where he wasn't hitting. Like San Diego, when he got traded, and then before he got traded, that's probably his worst season out of all the seasons he played. This is, I don't want Soto just because of his name. The man, not only did he beat Houston, our rival, he won a chip. He produced in the World Series. That's the players I want. That's why everybody's claiming for Harper and stuff like that. Harper is, as he's seen, he's a postseason player. That's what I want on the team. I don't want Josh Donaldson or Frenchie Cordero or players that I can't see myself seeing in the postseason. Now, if it was Josh Donaldson when he was coming up with the A's and the Blue Jays and stuff like that, you could tell me on that. But he's not. That's not the same player. That's why I wanted Carlos Correa, because he can produce in the playoffs. I don't care what he does in the regular season. I really don't care. I'm looking for postseason players to help Judge and Garrett Cole, get over the top so they can finally win a chip. And they don't look at that. They looking for the launch angles. Oh, he can hit 50 home runs, blah 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 blah. Joey Gallo. That doesn't know.
Okay. I one reason why I want Juan Soto on the team, he fits the ballpark. He's a left-handed hitter. Who, my goodness, when the lights are bright, when it's showtime on Broadway, and I'm not talking about Broadway, New York, but I'm talking about Broadway when in Major League Baseball, he always shows up. Regardless what he does something. He's an impactful player when he shows up when the lights are bright. That's the type of player that you have an aura, an energy around. Like, we know that this guy's going to show up. Like Jeter will always show up for the Yankees. I'm not saying he's Jeter. I'm saying there's guys that have that intangible, that no analytics, no temperature, no matter how much you put a thermometer up his ass, you're not going to find out what the guy, what is he really capable of. And that's what Juan Soto is, that type of player. And plus, he's only 26 years old. Fits a major timeline, even if you could build for the next 10 years with him. He's 36 if you build for 10 years with Juan Soto. And he's still going to be he's going to be a hell of a good player. The end of the contract isn't going to be diminishing. You're not going to get diminishing returns, even if you sign him for a 12-year contract, because he'll be 38 or 39, or even if you shoot him up to 40, because you can still have the designated hitter situation there with Juan Soto. A type of player you gotta go and get. I prefer him be honest with you. For a long, if I'm gonna give a long-term contract to either or, I'm getting him over Ohtani. Ohtani, if the Yankees do go for Ohtani, it has to be a very short-term, 3-4 year deal, 5 tops, or the Carlos Rodon deal. You got to give him. You know what? If he's not gonna take it, he's not. The Carlos Rodon deal, money-wise, to Ohtani, that's what you go for. But he's not, because he can hit. He's a hitter, but that's another. That's gonna, if Ohtani were to be a Yankee, that's what we call a arroz con culo. That's gonna be a mess, because he's only designated. He only DHs and he pitches. He puts a whole hamper and you think Boone sucks as a managerial with a designated hitter and strategy wise, give him Otani, it's going to be a disaster. It's going to be a disaster for him as a manager. Now, if you had a Bruce Bochy type of manager, even a Buck Showalter, Otani comes here, I have very much confidence that man those men could manage on Otani. Dusty Baker went and make moves and this and that. I have confidence in those type of guys to manage that kind of a player. I don't think Boone doesn't know. And it's funny because it's sad because he grew up in a baseball home, but he doesn't show that he's a hell of a baseball IQ manager with the moves.
Yeah. I mean, not just that too. If that's all how I care about is the money. Just look how much money Soto's gonna bring in with the Dominican heritage and stuff like that. All the Dominicans in New York or any Latin people in New York, like it just it makes too much sense for them to trade for him. He's a lefty at bat. He hits for average. He can hit in front of Judge. He can hit behind Judge. He brings in so much money with the merge, everything. He's a winner. He's a proven hitter. Like I don't know how many, and he's young. He's not 30 years old. He's 24, about to be 25.
I'm gonna go on a limb. If the Yankees bring in Juan Soto via free agency or trade, it's like bringing in this generational version of Reggie Jackson. It's like bringing
Yeah.
Reggie Jackson from the Athletics to the Yankees. The straw that stirs the drink. And I'm not saying he's gonna be a controversial player, but his impact, the way Reggie Jackson had on the New York Yankees, that impact, I think that's what Juan Soto brings to this team.
And not
I
only
think
that,
that
if we can keep Jason Dominguez, that'd be a good mentor for Jason to look up to. Soto could mentor this man.
you might be able to keep him because I don't know how much major league teams want Dominguez now coming off that injury. What he showed a lot of flash, a lot of promises. He was exciting. Going out
Hmm.
there and single-handedly winning that series against the Astros in September, that was phenomenal. Phenomenal job by him. It sucked that he had that injury, but good job on him. I don't know if that's what's gonna take. Also, the Padres doesn't really the Padres, everyone swears that they're gonna get a king ransom. And usually when it
No.
goes like that, if he tells the organization he's not resigning with them, they're going to try to get something good now in the off season. Then at the trade deadline, they're going to get Ugats. They're not going to get much, not much, because he's not going to resign. He's going to let them know. Once the winter meetings come after the World Series is over, if we hear reports that he's not going to resign with San Diego, it's not going to cost a lot of not. It's going to cost you something good, yes, absolutely, but not something that's going to be a king's ransom to bring him to the
Well,
Padres because Padres can't keep spending a lot of money where they didn't even make the
that
postseason. They didn't recoup.
that's what I wanted to tell you, Kev. So the thing came out that the Padres are actually looking to shed money, so that's why they're looking to trade Juan Soto. A lot of people is talking about if we trade for Juan Soto, the package might not be as much because maybe we might take a couple of their bad contracts, like Cronenworth and Matt Carpenter, which
That's a
I
problem.
don't, I don't look. I don't mind taking those two players because we seen what Matt Carpenter does for us, and Cronenworth is not a bad player. So if we do get him, he could play second base, and we definitely gonna trade Gleyber in because it's no room. And
I don't
if
know
we
if
do
Glaber
that,
gets because now with Kim Ying no longer part of the Marlins organization. Kim Yim had an eye for Glaber Torres. There was a lot of
well, they still
admiration
say
for
Miami
Torres.
wants him.
If Miami still wants Glaber, because
Yeah.
listen, and again, I know we were talking about analytics, Chris. This is where analytics has to come in, not for baseball sense. At the ethnicity, um, knowing your demographics in your stadium, in your surrounding stadium, not just your city. And I get it. And I'm gonna make a comment here that's not gonna sound right, and I'm already apologizing for it. Maybe the analytics department and the Yankees don't want the Dominican Hispanic to be patrons in New York Yankees in the stadium because they don't bring these type of players. Yankee Stadium around 161st and Grand Concourse, around that area, Jerome, there is a lot of Dominican heritage there that lives there. and as well as before when he had the Puerto Rican community as well in the South Bronx. We showed up for Bernie Williams. We showed up to for Jorge Posada. We wanted to go get Pedro Martinez. They have to give a. They don't have to, but they should cater or help. If you want to sell those $28 chicken buckets, and I get it, we will pay if you're giving us our people, our heritage, going out there and wear the New York Yankee pride. And if they're gonna produce, we're gonna support them. It seems like they don't want that money from that fan base in the stadium. They'll take the money from the TV rights. They'll want us to watch from afar. But it doesn't seem like they want to cater us to come to the ballpark, because you're telling me you bring a Juan Soto there and you bring those certain and that's why I'm going back to this point with Miami. That's why they're high on Gleyber Torres, because Miami has a lot of Venezuelans in Miami and for a lot of the area. You bring in a market. Look at what Fernandez was loved in Miami, because there's a lot of Cuban American there, Cuban family, Cuban people that wanted to see. They were excited for Jose Fernandez to pitch. That's one of ours. That's wearing that beautiful flag on his sleeve, in his heart, and representing the Marlins, the city that we live. That's what they wanted. That's what Marlins are high on a Gleyber Torres, the Pablo Lopez. You see, and it's not just a Latin thing. You could bring players to your area. You're telling me you have a great New Orleans. Tell me you have a great Cajun player from your guys from your region that wants to come play back home. You're gonna love. That's your conquering hero representing your city where you live at, where you wake up every morning to. You want that guy there, and he's a superstar. You want him to go play for your team, your city, your fan base. That's what. And New York is a melting pot. Miami is becoming a melting pot. Los Angeles is a melting pot. I like that San Diego went and they got a lot of Hispanic folks there to play, and you see they're catering to people that's going to bring that's how you expand the game globally. You bring other folks in to your stadium. That's why I didn't get the Mets, why they were mad with Lindor and Baez when that place was full, when they sucked, when they were out of it, Chris. They had a lot of Puerto Rican people there with the flags cheering for Baez and Lindor, and they sucked, and they were still coming out in droves. But they didn't want them. They didn't want them, and that's a problem that with these owners. It's a problem. I know it sounds wrong. It sounds weird, but I gotta be honest with you.
And I wanted to bring this up too when we were talking about like bringing people in and stuff like that. Like we do need a bench coach, so why not bring Yadier? You know, I feel like Yadier would be the perfect, because most people don't realize this. Most of the great general managers, managers that's on the field, were former catchers. Like,
yes,
I feel like Yadier can get in the player's face. Then he he can speak Spanish. So the Spanish players that we do have, he can talk to them too. So he would be perfect. I feel like they should get somebody like him. If y'all want somebody to be tough, get somebody like him. Then Boone ain't got to really do nothing.
Mendoza was a good bench coach. Espada that now with the Astros was a hell of a good bench coach there. He would communicate both. There wasn't a language barrier or lost in translations, because sometimes when you want to tell a player something, it gets lost in translation, Chris. And again, it doesn't have to be a Latin and Hispanic thing, because we want Judge isn't neither or. Judge is mixed African American,
and I think Judge respects Yadier even more. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to get a player that other players can respect too. I'm sorry, some players. I know Judge likes Boone, but some players don't respect Boone. Look at Gleyber.
Yeah. Yes. Case in point. Good point there. You need a bench coach who I personally, I would like a bench coach who had managerial experience, who could whisper in Boone's ear. That's the disservice they did, and I said it before. Maybe Boone would have been a better manager if he would have had a bench coach who was a major league manager. And I know we say, well, wait a minute, don't you got Luis Rojas and part in the coaching staff? He just got here last year. He just got here, and it's tough for him to start. Maybe he gets elevated. Maybe his role becomes more more expanded because Luis Rojas, I think, regardless with the Mets or not, he had a raw deal. That's another question, another podcast for another day. But maybe Luis Rojas gets elevated and he gets a little more responsible from familiarity, being more comfortable. Because they didn't say that they released any of the coach other than one coach. I think got released from the Yankees, right? I believe. I don't know who got released. One of the coaches isn't coming back. I don't know which one, but they
I
didn't
just know
mention.
one of the bench coaches is gone. I
Yeah,
just
one,
think
yeah.
yeah, that's
So
all I
they
know.
didn't. They didn't say if the whole coaching staff is returning yet. So that's news
No,
for later down the road. But if Reese Rojas will return, I would like him to be elevated there. Maybe he is a manager, heir apparent. Maybe they think Luis Rojas is the manager and apparent. You say Yadier Molina. I don't know if Yadier wants to coach, if he wants to manage. It looks like he does because they will talk about him with the Puerto Rican national team that he had aspirations of coaching and being part of it. Hey, let's go. Sometimes I wouldn't mind that. Someone who just came out of the off the field, who's seen the game analytically wise as well, because they've down with it, and is in touch with the modern baseball. Maybe Yadier Molina is the kind of guy that the Yankees should have a bench coach, heir apparent for Boone, just in case. I'm not happy that Boone's returning first and foremost, but
I know.
maybe that excites us with a Yadier Molina as a bench coach. I know people would say Jorge Posada, but I think Jorge Posada, I don't think he's not made up for managerial or baseball right now. He's got too much stuff, and he has a great life in South Florida. His wife is a fitness model at her age, and there's too much. I think there's too much extracurricular stuff with Jorge Posada, which he's enjoying his retirement. I don't think he's focused on baseball, following baseball, the day to day on baseball. And I know it's a crazy one. Alex Rodriguez would have been a better one over Jorge Posada, but I think either one would do good with the Yankees personally. I'm not saying I don't want A-Rod either. I'm not saying bring A-Rod, no, but I'm saying if I had to choose between them, if A-Rod seems more in touch with baseball than Posada right now. Personally, it doesn't mean Posada might not be a good manager, but he's not in tune with the game right now. He's been out and not really following it the way. I know he worked with the Marlins for a little bit there and stuff, but go look at his Instagram. He is occupied. I'm telling you that right now. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I feel 2024 coming up. When we haven't seen who's the free agent, who's declared for free agency, who's available for trades. We haven't had winter meetings, but ending out the season, I'm very disappointed. I don't know what. I don't believe there's any hope. I think everyone is past their shelf life with organization wise as coaches, managers, and we're bringing back an aging first baseman with concussion issues now where Judge will be better. Judge will be back to his normal. I think he'll be fine. But we still don't know who's our center fielder. We don't
Or
know.
left.
We don't have a left fielder. So we got two thirds of our outfielders. We don't know. The third
Third
baseman,
baseman.
DJ LeMahieu, continues to age and not age well. And he seems to be more of a part-time player, a fill-in, a role bench player right now who can hit. Volpe is a good shortstop, but even the organization has doubts. They want to move him to. They want to. Here we go again with the musical chairs with the shortstop position because they're telling us Peraza is a better second shortstop, and they want to move Peraza to short and Volpe to second, or one of them to third base. Again, now you're going to move a guy who's going to. By the way, congratulations for him for being a finalist for American League Gold Glove. So he's in the finalist to be a Gold Glove, and you want to move him. Is that again because Volpe is Peraza is a better defensive glove, so you should have played Peraza from the beginning, and then brought Volpe up as a lightning rod for it just a lot of different things there that makes you scratch your head, and it makes you instead of having confidence and feeling good about the organization, you tend to get soured like I do, and then you watch the postseason and you're gonna say, you know what, these postseason is going on and it sucked. This postseason sucks. That whole American League East for the wild card, they all play like dog crap, and it makes you mad because I feel like that guy on the thumbnail that should have been the Yankees. You telling me the Yankees would have got in the postseason? They would have won one game out of those three? Hell's yeah. They would have won one. They would have made it. They would have went to defining. Maybe they would have not got knocked off in the wild card round, but they would have made it competitive. Despite because you telling me you put a Garrett Cole Cy Young Award winner potential out there to pitch, and the rest of the pitching staff that they had that they were showing, starting pitching wasn't really a problem too much for the Yankees. It was just the lack of continuity with the left fielder, and it was just a year that, you know what, hopefully it's a punt year. They still finish over 500 for all those people that are worried
Hmm.
about that, over 500. So they're over 31 years over 500. But to me, this year felt like they were really dog crap. It was like I couldn't. Well, what I watched is like not something that I haven't watched since 1992, bro. Since 92.
Yeah, like it just wasn't good. I mean, like I said, like you can't keep wasting Cole's prime. I mean, the man's healthy, but he can only be healthy for so long until that age start catching up to him. And it's like you gotta make some moves and try to win at least one World Series. Now I want to say this too because um just in case we don't talk about any more of this, but I wanna bring this up, and I don't hear too much people bringing this up, but I know Kevin like this. So we need a third baseman, right? There's a third baseman that's a little disgruntled because the team not doing too good, and there's a pitcher on the same team that Kev always wanted. Now, if we can't get Yamamoto, how about trading some of them assets, call it Cleveland up, and trying to get Shane Bieber and Ramirez to come play for us? And that is a possibility. And I wanted to bring that up because I don't hear too many people bringing that up, and I that is something to look into. If you want to be creative, that's very creative right there.
I think Beaver, as much as I like Beaver, I think Beaver's good. I think a year too late. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to be
Well,
that type of
I'm
pitcher
not
that's
I'm
going to
not
get
looking
us.
for,
But
yeah. I'm not,
I like Jose Ramirez, who has a team
that's what I want.
has a team friendly deal, a third baseman with power who's switch hitter. But that means goodbye Juan Soto Dream. You can get Ramirez, but then we still got, I don't know.
Well, look. So this
Here's
is
the
this is
deal: who's playing left field and center? I like Ramirez. I like it. I'm not
I
turning
know.
it down. But what are the domino effects after
All right.
Ramirez?
So
Because you
this is where I'm gonna get creative. All right. Say we don't trade Spencer Jones or Dominguez and stuff like that. Say we still got them. Say we still got Peraza, but we did have to give up some of our pitching prospects to get Soto. Say and I'm not an advocate of saying get superstars all over the field. That's dumb. But this is a possibility that it can happen. If we trade our pitching prospects to get Soto, and we still got our hitters, which that's what Cleveland needs. They don't need pitching; they need hitters. We can give them our best hitters in the minors, and whatever we get from Glaber. If we trade Glaber, you throw that in there too. That is a possibility. I'm just saying. But again, do we have the right GM to think about stuff like that? That's the question.
there's a way of getting creative if because Marlins have some good because Marlins have been down on their luck. When you lose some games, you end up drafting good players.
Hmm.
Baseball's a crapshoot. Baseball's a crapshoot with the minor leagues. You get a lot of rounds, and it's just how they develop in your system. If the Yankees can move Marlin players, some of the players that they have, and Baltimore is intrigued by it, you could swing. I mean, not Baltimore, Cleveland. You could move them. Um, Austin says I'd rather have Soto over Ramirez. Ramirez is only 24, 25 over Ramirez. Yes, I get that, but if we don't get Soto, Austin, we gotta think about maybe Ramirez. I think damn Ramirez is a good name to think about, but hmm,
But
he's a switch
Austin,
hitter. He's a switch
this
hitter that you could put in the middle of the lineup.
this is what I'm saying too, Austin. Like I don't know if you said that after what your dad said and then hear what I said. There's a you can get both. There is a possibility, but it takes the right GM to think about
Hmm.
stuff like that, and that's the problem.
That worries me. I don't know if they could. If they could, I'm for it. Here's the thing that I'm gonna say with I rather have the Reggie Jackson of this time of this modern
Oh
time,
yeah,
which is Juan Soto.
no
That's
question.
equivalent. Again, Soto
Yeah.
coming to the Yankees is like getting Reggie Jackson from the Athletics, and then you have to think about that, man. But, and I know it didn't work too much. The Yankees did win the World Series. They went to with him. He was a difference maker. They didn't work out well. We saw the stuff with the manager, with Billy
Billy
Martin,
Martin.
all that stuff. And yes, we know that. But damn, he was the stir. He was the straw that stirred that drink. And I think Juan Soto will be a straw that will stir that drink. If you could somehow keep him there, I don't know what's going to cost us. Again, Yankee fans, I don't know what the Padres want. Again, it's easier to say we don't have to give this, we don't have to give that. We don't know what San Diego wants. We don't know. I'm gonna start looking. I don't want to do too many Yankee videos because there's not much to
Yeah.
report. But I want to look at the Padres and see what are their positions of needs going into this off season and what they look for as an organization. It'd be great to have a San Diego content creator to come on and have a conversation. That I will do. I will do a Yankee podcast with a San Diego Padre content creator. Have a conversation about their team and find out what their team is in need of. What are they? Even we not because I don't want even with Juan Soto. What are the Padres' deficiency in? What do they need to put them over the top? Did they underachieve at certain positions that they might think that they might want to try to run the whole thing back? They invested a lot of money in that organization, that team, to bring all these players, and maybe they just had, one of these times of years, wasn't just a year. Things didn't break right. Maybe another year gelling together, we could get it going there. I don't know. We don't know. That's why it'd be great to talk to one of the Bizarro Bronx Bomber Strike Back, the Padres, Tickles You Back podcast or something, so they could tell us what's going
No, but I look. Trust me. We look. You could say it to the cows come home. We all agree, and I don't care if Cashman. It don't have to be the smart move. It just has to be the right move. And the right move is to. I mean, it's smart too. Is to get Juan Soto. I don't care what you got to give up. Like I don't care. If it is Volpe, I don't care.
And the thing was, here's the thing. I'm glad you mentioned Volpe. What bothers me, I thought you said we should have got Luis Castillo, Chris, and it would but it would cost you Volpe. Yeah, but you know what? Even if it would have cost us Volpe, Chris, this off season that passed, that just finished, there was a plethora of shortstops that could have been signed. I know Volpe is a young player that would have been here for years, whatever. We saw what he did, phenomenal player. But you're telling me you could have signed one of those shortstops that went elsewhere, Turner, Carrera, you name it. There was a plethora of short. There was a position. There was a lot of. This is the thing that, again, like we said, Chris, you don't have to be smart, but you had to make the right move. You could have moved if you knew that this season was coming up with a lot of shortstop and free agency. You could have moved Volpe with us, and you would have seen what you got with Peraza, and then you would have still got those two monster pitchers. You would have gotten Castillo, Cole in last year's postseason. Last year's postseason, we went to with IKF as a shortstop, playing how
Yep.
bad he was. We were in the ALCS. Yes, we got swept. We got our doors handed into us. But just think if we would have had Luis Castillo pitching, what big difference that would have made. Maybe we would have went to game 7 and lost. Maybe a game 6 and lost. But you know what? Then you go out there and now you go get yourself a proven shortstop. And then we're probably talking the team playing now instead of seeing these other 4 teams that sucks playing in the
Well,
postseason.
look at this too. Look at this. Look at the shortstop that they passed up. Last time I looked, Turner's in the postseason, right?
Correct.
Corey
Correa
Seager
was in the
and Corey Seager and Simeon postseason, right? They play for
postseason.
the
And we
same
wanted
team.
and we wanted Seager because he was a left-handed bat that would have fit shortstop need.
So what is that telling us? That Brian Cashman was wrong. And I'm not
Made a
gonna lie,
mistake.
the two I really wanted was Seager or Correa. One of those two I would have been happy with.
I agree with you because I was if I had to pick. Honest with you. I know I said the left-hander makes more sense, but I like Correa because the stage when he comes up to the stage is always he's always ready to perform on the big stage. I didn't see that. I didn't see too much. I didn't appreciate what Seager did with the Dodgers. I didn't see him, so I don't know. Couldn't say for myself with my eye test to appreciate what he did. But he is another good player, by the way. A lefty that would have fit. Everyone's saying Seager because of the short porch. Maybe they were right. And again, Cashman, instead of doing the right move, he tried to do the smart move and try to save a few. I'll save a few dollars here because and those are the type of mistakes that's hurting and hampering the New York Yankees. The Stanton mistake, the Donaldson mistake, and now the shortstop mistake for not bringing Luis Castillo in. That's what's hurting the New York Yankees going forward. Those are coming to roost and hurt the organization making those wrong decisions. That's the wrong decision. But when the new year starts, there's always new hope. And now there's
Hmm.
players out there that you could change the fortune. I really don't want them to get me anyone over 30 no more. And enough with the 30-year-old veterans. This is a young man's game. And I understand the Atlanta Braves are young, they were fun, and they got knocked out in the playoffs. Sometimes the veterans is needed to get you over the hump. They've been there, done that. I get it. But get them into positions where short-term contracts, where it's a position of strength. Like, you know what? I wouldn't mind a veteran first baseman if you want to bring in a first baseman, a veteran that's going to play. But now you got the
I
Mayhew
don't.
and
I was about to say
yes,
I
go
don't even
ahead.
want to talk about first baseman because we could have got Matt Olson. That's who I
I
wanted,
understand. Everyone wanted.
and
And I was wrong. I wanted Rizzo because he was already part of the team. He played. My fear with Olsen was I didn't know if he was a New York translated player that he didn't want to leave. He wanted to stay small market. That was my worry. When his agent came out and said he didn't want long free Freddie Freeman, excuse me, it was Freddie Freeman. I apologize. It
hmm
was Freddie Freeman that he didn't want to leave Atlanta. He wanted to stay in small market. That worried me. But Freddie Freeman is a hell of a baseball player, and he's doing well with the Dodgers. I know you wanted Olsen. I kind of wanted Freeman because I saw what he
we
does in
could.
New York
I
for the
take either
Mets.
or.
And then I said, you know what? I don't think we're gonna get Freeman. He doesn't want to play for a big market team. Then give me, you know what? I'll stay with the devil I know from the devil I don't know, which was Rizzo, which is a mistake, But Rizzo's about to win a Gold Glove. When I know he got hurt and so forth, and of course that neck injury, head injury cost him a little bit. But damn, you were right. You were right. Matt Olson should have been a Yankee there. That's the player you go get. There was a few players the Yankees should they picked the wrong athletics. They just continue to
Like
pick the wrong athletics.
how many home runs he hit this year? Like 40 something. Just imagine the Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't want no Chapman from Toronto.
No,
Please do not bring
no,
me him. Do not
nope,
bring me him. He's a
nope.
strikeout machine. He's no, no, thank you. Nope.
I'd rather trade my
Unless
prospects to get Ramirez. I rather do that. I'm good. I don't want Chapman.
no, he's
Now I'll
older.
take I'll take O'Dude now from St. Louis. I know he's a little older, but he can still play third.
Miller,
Uh,
Al
yeah, I'll
Miller.
take him. I'll take him. I'm not taking Chapman.
I
I'm
don't.
good.
I don't know if St. Louis will trade. I think they're
No, no,
willing to.
no. But if
I
I
don't
if I
think
got to
they.
choose, I'd rather him. He can hit. He can hit way better. He doesn't really strike out like that. I don't want Chapman.
He's an all-star. That guy's an all-star. Chapman is good. He's a good player, but right now the Yankees need something. They don't need. They got to get someone who's going to play every day contact hitter. We don't need more strikeout machines. We don't need swing and miss guys. But we'll see, man. Right now, I don't feel optimistic with the team. With the moves. Just by the way they know how much the fan base is revved up. And you're telling me you're going to get served. You're going to Siemens and you're going to go furniture shopping. That's a puzzle. That's a worry. Some to me that worries me because you know why? Because how instead of I need a king size bed and he ain't gonna buy me one. So you know what? Screw that, pal. So
I don't know. I want to see, like, I don't know how long it's gonna be until we do another podcast, but I do want to see what they do. I'm telling you right now, if they can trade for Soto, I'm telling you right now, you got the fan base saying, okay, y'all fucking serious.
oh, I got breaking news. Hold on, I got
Oh,
breaking news. It's telling me that Jeff Paswell said that the Yankees are not going to buy California king size bed. They're only going to buy king size. California king costs a little more money for how, and they have to conform with with the king size bed, not the California with an extra leg room. So no, they have to because the bed sheets are a little too expensive, so they have to go with regular king size beds. Man, look at that. All right, thanks,
man, that
Jeff.
means so you're telling me Judge and Stan gonna have back problems because they can't sleep in those.
Oh, they're lucky they're not getting queen size beds or twin size mattresses, bunk beds. Did we like step brothers? Did we just become best friends because we're yeah. All the pain, bro. All the pain. The words of Joe Badingo. But this is the Yankee podcast here, Bronx Bombers. I just wanted to conclude the season and tell you how much I was disappointed. Not closing out. Not even. I was so disappointed. I didn't even do the end of the game. I didn't even do the last game of the season to stream it. I was so disappointed. I needed to disconnect from the Yankees. beat me down. And then seeing that they weren't gonna, everyone was being retained. I said if they were gonna say this, that Boone might be out and yada yada, I would have came on that last Sunday and say, not to gloat, not to be happy, but to say, you know what, that's an end of an era. Let's close that chapter with Boone. But he's coming back. I don't know. You know what? Who knows? Come February when I don't have no baseball, I get giddy, and then you'll probably see me do videos and say I'm ready for the baseball. Right now, I'm totally disconnected. I feel so disconnected, beat down for the team that I love. This is my first love is the New York Yankees, and for me to feel disconnected and totally beat down, I never felt like this ever with my team. Not even in the '90s. Not even in I was one of the dumb moron player a person. I remember telling my math teacher, Tim Leary is going to win the Cy Young Award. I think he started like 5-0 in his first 5 starts. And Tim Leary was a terrible pitcher, and I had that naive Yankee hope that they were going to be good, and they were really terrible. And I was like, no, Tim Leary's going to be good, and I only saw it through Yankee glasses. Now, as I get older, first time ever I could say they beat me up, dude. They wore me out. I hate to say that. I hope, but I know with a couple of baseball moves, some signings, maybe some moves. If they do it, tinkering here and there, maybe they reignite that passion that I want to see this team play, and maybe and I'll probably be pleasantly surprised. It just makes me question: do I want to waste another summer where rinse and repeat? And that's my question here. But I have all this time to think about. But we'll see. Only time will tell. I want to thank everyone that joined us on the podcast. Chris, thank you for hopping in, talking Yankees. I know you want to talk a lot of Yankees at times, but I want some substance too. Or, I don't like the clickbait. I don't want people to always see that I'm putting out Yankee content as almost saying the same thing or talk about a player that I don't know. I don't see the Japanese player. I don't know anything. I'm going by what Jeff Passan or Tim Kirchin or anyone says, and I don't want to copy and repeat. I don't want to copy and paste. I want to give you my personal opinion, my personal take, what I saw, not just what I'm regurgitating or saying again. That's not me. I can't be that way. Maybe that's why I stay a certain way or whatever. But it's just me, Chris. I can't do it. It's not in my
Nah,
DNA.
I understand. That's why I haven't been really posting nothing because that can get real stale. And I want to give my thoughts and my opinions. That's why I don't really hop on the shows like I used to because not only do I want to give my own opinion and this and that, I also respect Kev. And I want to save the content when me and him do something together. I don't want to, oh yeah, Chris, what's your thoughts? And then the next person asks me the same thing. Then the next person asks me the same. I don't want to keep doing that. That's very tiresome. So that's why I waited for Kev to be like, yeah, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna hop on for Kev. It's just a respect thing.
I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate you guys. Again, please like, share, subscribe, and just I know I wanted to say again, thank you for Jose Melo, Maria throughout the season. And all the greats that are joining us on the Yankee watch alongs. Mr. Davar counting cigars. I know he was a little disappointed that we didn't finish the season, but Davar has always been a great backing of the channel, and I know he's a big Yankee fan. And Davar, man, just because we didn't do the Yankee closeouts, we thinking about you. At least myself here, I'm thinking about you. I want to say thank you. I appreciate everything that you do with myself and Chef Dan, from the cigars, from the notes. I got he handwritten notes thanking for the watch alongs. I have them there, collected. It's not collecting dust. It's nice and kept. To me, I really appreciate what Davar does. Not just the cigars, but the handwritten notes. He writes a very nice handwritten note thanking and how much he enjoys the watch alongs, everything we talk about Yankees. I know he's a little disappointed that we didn't close out the season, but you got to understand there's other shows, other sports that are moving. And I hope, like you, I'm as passionate as you. I can't wait the day that we go down the Canyon of Heroes to watch the parade and I get to meet you in person. And maybe you and I might be a person that don't like physicality, but I want to give you a big man, strong hug, like a big brother hug to Mr. Davar when I meet him, because he's been phenomenal with those notes, Chris. Believe it or not, it's just a simple thank you with a note. It really means a lot, and I wanted to tell him that on screen, that I appreciate that. And Maria as well. Give Maria a big hug. See her down in Soho and see her at the parade. I want to see that. I want to see everyone in the Yankee parade when I go. If I make it down there and just see everyone and just say thank you. Meet them in person, and just have a great appreciation for every one of them that watch along everything that we do Yankees. So wanted to give that thank as well. Hey, listen, this is not going to be the last Yankee talk we're going to have. We'll probably talk after the World Series if there's some news. Who files for free agency, who doesn't. We'll do some hot stove, but you're not going to get the clickbait over whenever there's something some wordy type of news or someone invents something. We're gonna or tell you the Yankees should trade for this guy because it makes sense like this because of this, and there's really no substance because we don't know what other teams want. I would try to reach out someone from the San Diego Padres. I'm gonna try that. I might do that an interview with a San Diego Padre content creator if there is one out there, or if he hears this, contact me. We would love to just have a conversation. Come on in and have a conversation. We'll talk about our baseball teams, our failures of the season and what strength of needs. And if we all a good working partners, I want to see what they think about our organization. Maybe we're over devaluing our players where they might see a player that we want, and we're not gonna get giddy. We're gonna say, okay, in our head, you know what, we'll make it. Maybe it works. Everyone has different point of views, different eye lenses, Chris. We will find out and see. Only time will tell. Only time will tell us. So
Well,
tell them where they can find you.
I was about to
Yes, sir.
say first before I do that, I want to thank our Dodger resident too, Michael Caputo, for joining us in our live streams too. Mike, I'm gonna tell you this right now, and I'm serious. If we get Soto, bruh, you gotta start joining us more on the watch along. I don't want to hit nothing. And I'll say this too. I don't know if Kev want to do this, but if we do get Soto, I feel like we should put our money where our mouth is and go to a game.
Hey, I'll tell you one. If Soto joins the Yankees, the jersey will be there. I will buy the jersey, and I might raffle. I might give one away because we're already 11,000 subscribers strong, and it's because of you guys watching along. And I got to get back. So yeah, maybe I'll do that. I'll get a custom. I'll get a Juan Soto jersey. Get it from Lids or FanDuel and just send it. The proper place where we could buy the jerseys, Yankee.com, and raffle it away, give it away to one of the subscribers if we get one. So yeah, how's that then? We'll do that. And then if it's opening day, if they do just sign Otani, which I don't know, opening day, I will give out a jersey opening day to someone. I think I'll do that. I think I can put my money where my mouth is.
And I'll help Kev with that. Same thing. Like it depends. Soto or Otani, we put in half and half for a jersey for somebody and raffle it off so it could be fair. But if y'all want to find me, you can find me on YouTube, Chris the Flash. You can find me on Facebook, Chris Rodrigue. My last name Rodrigue. If it's hard for you to spell. I'm trying to think what's my Twitter or X account. I think it's Chris Rodrigue 91. I'm like I said, like whenever Kev needs me, I'm gonna join him. It could be wrestling, it could be football, it could be anything. It's because he's the one that put me on his platform. He's the only one that respects me enough to keep inviting me to join him and talk about how I feel about certain teams. So I'm gonna keep joining them, and that's all I can say. And I love the chat. So
appreciate everyone. You can find me on BXJedi76 on the X Twitter machine, of course. And you can do the same thing, BXJedi@gmail.com. You want to be a panelist, so listen, I would like to join you guys to talk Yankee baseball. You know what? We haven't heard from anyone new. We were like, you know what? We'll make a podcast and hear your thoughts, and we'll do a video. You want to join us and we can come on board. As long as you have a camera, even if it works on your telephone. You want to join us for a couple of minutes. Even if you come in for 20 minutes, that's a quick segment. Hop in. We're more than welcome. We would love to see that. Or if you want to just make a video, I can always post it on here on the YouTube platform and give me your thoughts on the Yankees. How would you fix the Yankees? And what is your thoughts on that? Again, we appreciate everyone. You have a blessed night, man. We'll see you soon, and hopefully not too far distant galaxy away, but we'll be back.